Is having me. Oh, thank you. Also, recording is progressing. For having me here, once again. And I know my setting is not so good because I just drove like 5 hours today uh, to Maine, Portland, and I will be teaching this weekend. And I'm in a nice small shine room. And can you hear me? Oh, good, good. And so I just, who does that? Like 5 hours drive without stopping? I didn't stop for gas. I didn't stop for bathroom. I didn't stop for uh, meal. And then I got really hungry once I got uh, Anyway, it's Tangurmbuche Vajravidya Center, and tonight, more than teaching, I may just keep talking like this, and I hope the good thing about so-called KTC is like I'm on my own boss, and that doesn't make sense, but I just say lead in meditation or like they always give me it's okay whatever you say or do teach and that's or do some practice that's very convenient and so I've been here 1998, the year after I arrived to KTD. So we were talking about with our the members, we had to have good dinner and potluck dinner. And we talk about, and like, I can't believe it because it's been 27 years. I mean, it's 27 years since you know, visited this place. It was because, as I mentioned earlier, it was like after, you know, a year at KTD, then Chögyam Rinpoche visited main center. He used to visit KTD, but in that particular year, he couldn't visit KTD. He had some busy schedule, and believe or not, he actually bought a ticket and sent invitation to me and said, you must come to Maine to see him, and I can't be at KTD. And I was so touched, such a permanent, such a, you know, um, great master, and such, his most famous and very special teacher and pioneer of our Kamakaji lineage, someone who, after the, uh, 59, the revolution happened in Tibet, and then once he came to exile, and he basically brought the, especially the uh, monastic college, all those uh, different commentary teachings, the lineage, everything. And that's why, Chögyam Rinpoche was enthroned as the, we call Kenshin in Tibetan term, which means not just abbot, Kempo is abbot, but Kenshin means he's the abbot of all Kamakaji lineage, pretty much. It's the greatest, scholar or Kenshin. And would able to think of someone like myself, or at the time, um, I was very young. It's interesting because today at the dinner, people say, "Oh, you must be were very young." Yeah, we were. We all were very young. I can't believe like 27 years passed. Like, wow. And so when I came here to see Jajutang Rinpoche, I told Rinpoche, "Oh, you are so kind. That's, incredible, how you can think of." Then Rinpoche said this. It was like very relaxed, smile. He said, "Oh, I thought you have homesick." Because one of his attendant at the time was Lama Kunga, who came from, Tangu Monastery, and we grew up pretty much together at the monastery. So he thought because you are same place, same, monastery, and cheer you up, because he thought maybe, all of a sudden I'm in the West, and, language different, culture different, and maybe, homesick. So that's how much he cared. And so he gave a teaching on the ocean of definitive meaning, and for a whole week. So I was lucky to receive that teaching. And then the day, let's say the after, tomorrow morning, let's say like 4 o'clock, I have to depart to the airport. And so I pay homage to Rinpoche, and you know, thank him. And so next morning, 4 o'clock, I get up, and Rinpoche was sitting outside of his door, sitting on a chair, say goodbye. I was like, oh, I was so touched, and tears. And the reason why I mention it is that, of course, I'm here in Maine, visiting after 27 years. But also I mention this because the reason why he does these things, because he really treasure his monks or lamas, so that we are able to uh, help other sentient beings. And so I think you know Terje Tongambuche, who, as I mentioned, he is very, he became the uh, teacher of all the victors like Sangha Sitrumbuche, Gyatso and all of those. But he's very beloved Lama of all the lineages. And because of his, well, the other part is that, I was recommended by one of our senior teacher who went to Nepal, and he's very, very special, elderly monk. And, he passed away in Nepal, but, he basically selected his own place where he going to be buried at Namum Buddha, and he already knew that he going to pass. So he who recommended to Teji Tongambuchi that, Kimburumbuchi needs an attendant, and then maybe should send me, and that's how it happened. And then Teji Tongambuchi, love, put such uh, care, and so that's why I think you heard of this terminology that I often use is survivor lama, survivor teacher, because I feel that because of their, put too much attention and, let's say, cared, love, and that's why I feel like sometimes, I get this kind of opportunity to share, a little bit about Dharma. And so it's also maybe connected with the importance of a teacher, because, when you find an authentic teacher in your life, and teacher is necessary, there's a quotation in Ndukung Kaji lineage. It's like Lama Matondat in Damitin. No? It was mentioned by the great Ndukung Chepa Rinpoche, the founder of Ndukung Kaji lineage, which means you should rely on Lama or Guru as like a child relying on the mother, until the child grows and has his own, become adult and able to go on their own place. I mean, able to guide their life. It is necessary, especially when they were born. So I think teacher is extremely important, and then teacher, authentic teacher. I think recently someone's come up and talk about the 50 verse about Guru. If you didn't get chance to listen, it's very, very important to listen those teachings because as long as we are practitioner, I think Guru is extremely important. Personally, even my teacher, both teacher passed away, Kemba and Teju Tonga. The physical matters, but also I feel, spiritually, not so much matters because what they left behind is the blessing, especially the teaching that they gave. And so, as a student, the guru is like a heartbeat. If there's no heartbeat, you don't have a really life, heartbeat. So guru is extremely important to in order to be successful and um, remove obstacles and receive teachings. And then when the guru is not present, if you had any guru that you really, really connected, and then not be panicking because there are also a lot of living teachers, wonderful gurus. And, during his own come up as presentation, he talked about a definition of a guru. There are many, many definitions, but sometimes if you find a spiritual teacher, you kind of analyze that, you kind of measure his quality versus faults. If the quality is what he or she teaches and what they act, what they do is better than yourself, it has to be better than yourself. And better than the quality is better than his or her own faults. That he says, that is pretty much sufficient to rely on because there you can't find a living teacher or like individual that doesn't have any faults. And thank goodness, that helped me a lot. Oh, and also like this, I think I hope you don't get bored from my some statements about the Chamir, which is Mountain Dharma, talk about the talk about uh, the teachers, and he said that uh, 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 deaf person can play a conch, nicely. Even if someone is deaf, but he or she play conch perfectly, even though he or she cannot hear it, but other people could hear it. And he said that as long as you have the lineage and a little bit of teaching, and if you are able to teach, even you can't practice, just like the deaf person cannot hear the sound, you would able to benefit others by following the teachings. So I thought that's something because I came here and I wanted to make mention that. And then secondly, tonight I kind of relate with the stories and uh, at my place there was this bird's nest. They always have this on my front door, and we try not to use one once the mother set up. And it was nicely set up, and then had three eggs, and this morning totally gone. The mother seemed like got killed. We definitely pray for her. It could be my cat or some other animals, and And then all the eggs were gone and the nest was gone, and it was very sad. Uh, and I mean, by hearing this, we feel also sad. But that's also, I think, it's so unpredictable about life because, as Milarepa mentioned, the death and permanence comes sudden, sudden. He used that word twice. Tuba, tuba in Tibetan, which means sudden and sudden. It's never once up, us. Of course, sometimes we get really sick and maybe doctor diagnose such and then they may predict, but sometimes like very, very sudden. And so those of us who practitioner shouldn't think that, oh, okay, once I have more time, I will practice. And once I feel in mood, I will practice. Never. I think it's very, very. When I was driving like 5 hours, like I had 5 hours, and I can, just listen to music. I can do all, but at the same time, it can, I'm not that good about practice, but. That kind of recollection of the impermanence, the how beautifully the mother built this nest. It's very sad. It's a sad story, but unfortunately, we have full of sad stories in this world, and those sad stories shouldn't, freeze us. Like, well, I feel so sad. This happened. I can't imagine. As a practitioner, these things happens, and these are all reminder us, reminding us uh, that we must practice now, especially I'm a practitioner. And I also used to share this ghost story with you, right? Some of you heard of this. And there's a ghost story in Tibet that a family or a man, an elderly man, actually he wasn't an elderly man. He was a young person at the time. He become good friend of a ghost and just told him that you ghosts have a lot of power and just let me know when the close to death or I want to practice dharma. Right now I don't have time, I have so many things to do. And then while they were being friends, and then they say, well, oh, you're truthful, wow, how you it's pain. Then it's, oh, how are you, your hair's getting gray, wow, and all those. Then the one day the ghost said, "Okay, you may not, you may die within this year." And then his friend said, "Oh, we are good friends. We are such great good friends. Why you didn't tell me earlier? Then I should practice dharma." And he said, "No, I told you already. Your tooth was falling. You you get gray hair." And these are all warnings, you didn't take it seriously, it's not my fault, I was a friend, I just already told you. So that's why I think, seriously, receiving a lot of teachings, it's wonderful. Sometimes, like, too many teachings can be, little bit uh, what's the word, can be sometimes like contradict a little bit. Oh, why the this book says this, that book says that, and then sometimes can may create some doubts or such. But whatever you receive teaching, like tonight we talk about two topics. One is the importance of guru, and second is impermanence, and using the story that I just have shared. And yeah, I was normally I don't, I and like kids are very sensitive. You don't sometimes like you try to not to share, but I did share this with Nobu this morning before I drop him in a school. I just showed him, this is how she died, and I taught before that you have to reset Oman me home and then blow air, which he exactly what he did. And so he was a little bit sad, of course. This is first time seeing something like that. But that's the why I wanted to tell him that, please reset. I'm gonna pay me home and blow air like that. So whenever he get a little hurt, he always say, please blow air to me. So whenever I blow air, I feel like, oh, I feel better. But the bottom line is that I think, practice is very handy for us. It's a sitting down practice every day. It's actually very, very beneficial. No matter how busy you could be, at least like, I mean, sad thing is that, no matter how busy we could be, we have time to get sick, we have time to get injured, we have time to get die. I mean, no choice, right? So before Minji Rinpoche visited, and I was kind of helping cleaning at KTD, and while I was just, there's some, uh, dust on ceiling, and I was doing all of this, and I was vacuuming, and I had a small ladder, and the vacuum has this, whatever you attached, you can extend, but all of a sudden extend, it falls. So I didn't have anything to hold on, so I just fell and landed my rib on the ladders, and I got a little hurt, and it's painful. I feel much better now. I was like, wow, my God, this is once again, it's not a big thing, but a lot of people going through tremendous suffering, and this kind of even like pain in your ribs, right? It's part that you can't control. Everything happens, sudden and sudden. And something I would like tonight, everybody to emphasize, or there's and younger country, but you talk about how we concentrate on impermanence, uh, like thinking about history, like, your childhood up till now, how many people passed away? It could be same age, could be much younger than you, it's did they, all of these people who passed away prepared, say, okay, everything is set, uh, and nobody expected, nobody wanted to accept, but it just happens, sudden and sudden. And on the other hand, like, I always like to watch news every day. I never hardly miss the nightly news. It's political, etc. But there are so many things you can learn from. This. Tonight, for example, like, okay, I'm jumping a little bit, jumping here, jumping there. But tonight, when I took a walk, on the, uh, there's uh, uh, in the Atlantic Ocean. There's a little Bay Area, and there's uh, what's what called. They never used it, but there's not castle. Uh, so there are some kind of military situation. The equipments, including like a big machine gun, look like. And the boat, the seals, the military equipments have the big missions, installed. And then there's a note says that it's exploded and killed like 250 something people. And so these are, kind of a little bit exhibition or something, people can walk around while they're walking, they can see this history. But on the other hand, it's a very, very, also a reminder that, how things happened. And so that's why I think impermanence practice is really, really important. Then second, younger Kont mentioned about the constant change, within within a day, and sometimes like, our own kind of plans, and we have a lot of plans today, and sometimes it doesn't go as we planned. Then sometimes all of a sudden we hear this news about somebody, our friend is sick, and our immediate expression if somebody died or really sick is like, I can't believe, my God, that's our expression. But as a practitioner, impermanence is real, as Milarepa says. It happens sudden and sudden. So it's also very strengthening or deepen understanding about impermanence, because basically impermanence tells us not to accumulate negative karma, not to accumulate negative karma consistently, which we seem like we do it, because uh, most of times, so let's say the biggest, most disturbing emotion, same like nowadays for everyone, is frustrated, angry, and that's so real, unfortunately. And as I mentioned before, that like we get really angry. Sometimes you feel frustrated whole day, and then at the end, like people ask how are you doing, or our family members how are you doing, how you feel better. I feel better this morning. I feel very frustrated, angry, but unfortunately, the it's already gone like maybe few hours. However, if you feel better, but uh, imprint, comic negative comic imprint is already done. Damage is already done. We accumulated a lot of negative karma through that anger, and so that's why I think if we think about impermanence, and we are able to treasure every minute, every second, every the those presentation about uh, you know dropping a snake from sky, or like dropping a fireball on your lap. You don't treasure them, right? You just have this immediate panic, and drop like a fireball as a like snake. So when emotion happens, and instead of you know thinking about for example, like when you begin to get angry with somebody, instead of thinking about the cause, and building more anger, so you may drop it like a fireball, or like snake jumping on your nap I mean, or your lap. And simply because we are afraid of cumulative negative karma. And you know uh, People keeping frustration and anger doesn't make us making good decisions. It's That's why it's called poison. If you keep poison, or keep eating poison, that's no the consequence is severe. And then impermanence has many other factors, because in order to understand emptiness of emotions, impermanence is always puts a big role with the emptiness, because when you think about impermanence, when you meditate, when your emotion arise, if you immediately think about, oh, it's impermanent, it's just arise, and you know, constantly changing, and then you won't take it seriously, and you will uh, let it pass by, or you just don't, you don't really, maybe the word that don't take seriously is the best, because sometimes if you don't think about impermanence, when you experience like anger or jealous, or stress or such, then we seem like habitually know how to make it worse. But if you think about, oh, it's impermanence, constantly changing, and secondly, I don't want to accumulate negative karma. So, there's that warning, or there's that refreshing, and that's how we kind of practice impermanence. So first, uh, talking about guru, and we will talk about our spiritual masters, especially those of you who have been Kimburmichi student, and a lot of students come to me say that, okay, now I don't have any teacher. What do I do? I said, why you need teacher after relying on Kimburmichi teaching and seeing him receive teachings for like 18 years or 20 years? Utilize what he taught. That's you now. It's now time for you to sit back, read those books, and practice. It's not like just keep eating, eating, eating. You have to digest. Right? If you keep eating, keep eating, and then end up you're gonna be, and what you're gonna be. I don't want to talk about what you're gonna be. So you have to digest, and then you eat whatever you eat, and that's why I think understanding study about Dhamma is really really important. But really experiencing through impermanence, through uh, direct meditation, through devotion is so valuable. So valuable, and those values of the practice doesn't. It becomes like you know. Uh, More like inseparable. The experience of meditation, experience of impermanence, true meditation, true impermanence become inseparable. Strengthen your mind, become inseparable from your mind, and then it could become the inexhaustible resource. It doesn't just last, it just disappear. If you think about impermanence, like I always say, well, maybe every time you go to bathroom and they were like we had a conversation. I always learn a lot from people's conversation. We had a big discussion about bathroom. They call sometimes loo. Oh, okay. We even like search on Google and it doesn't have very convincing description. I mentioned before that I'm very scrutinizing my mind to analyze some certain things that I feel like has to find out about the, knocking on woods, right? You heard this before. People say knocking on woods, less, people have, even like, with respect, some of the priests, answer something never satisfied of my mind until a gentleman said that, oh, the reason why we knock on wood is because when Jesus was crucified, the cross was made from wood. And that's why we knock on wood. I was like, oh, okay, I could be totally wrong, but it was the best satisfaction I ever had. What? That's so real, simply because this is a religious thing, like knocking on wood. And it was the has to be made, it has to be wood, and so that connection was so real. So, anyways, that's the second thing, and then the third is I always like it comes down to you know uh, meditation itself. Meditation, in Tibetan terms, like gum become familiar. And so why we are so emotional because we become so accustomed to uh, become a slave of our own emotions. And so when we are 24 hours distracted, and then then it naturally kind of goes into that mental condition. So instead, governments become familiar, which begin to utilize those emotions, emotions could be very good reminder that every time you experience emotions, think about impermanence, or simply, why you experience, as I always emphasize, that equally or at the same time, your actual nature or your actual primordial wisdom is not disturbed. It's like storms and hurricanes, just devastating happening even nowadays. But the space is never waved. The space is never disturbed. It's always, vast or beyond or innocent or silent. So you have to listen to your own emotions and the stress whenever that happens. There's also very, very tender. That's not a hurricane, right? Good job. You must go into Lou. Somebody taking train. Yes. Oh, look at Daniel. Cowboy hat. Amazing. Cowboy hat. Okay, now where am I? All right, so let's see. Oh, here we go. And I think that's pretty much what I'm going to say. And I always would like to you to ask questions. And so tonight we covered three things. One is please do, if you get chance to, there's teaching by Sons come up about the 50 verse of about Guru Lama Ngachipa. I think the translator is Kembo uh, David is Greek translator, and then maybe also practice impermanence, and it's very easy term, but also very very profound. And then third is become familiar with our uh, own nature of mind and knowing that all this inner noise, all those stress feelings, all those emotions carries that very silent pen drop silent of our own primordial wisdom. So we are tend to always follow this stress and the feelings. So maybe sometimes like pause, just simply utilize or rest in that silence part. And once you become familiar, then you may not be panic with the emotions. You feel like, oh, here comes, and goes and constantly changing, and also, how noisy it could be. It doesn't have a what? Oh, somebody take me upside down. Where am I? Someone called on WhatsApp. All right, so that's pretty much. And do you have any questions?
Lamala, where is this teaching from the Karmapa that you're talking about with the translator?
This is currently Son's come up. I finished the teaching, and it's he always teach on the nuns the winter seminar. So you can find both on YouTube and Facebook. If you go on YouTube as Kamapa, so you will see his picture, and then you can click on there. And so all the teachings he gave I think there are maybe 7, 8 languages, and English. And then on Facebook, same thing. Like if you find Kamapa, so yeah, you can find from both, and they are the. Ison's Kamapa teaching is a little different because his presentation is very very special. He do use the PPT, PowerPoints, and yeah. So I see Daniel, the cowboy, posted the cowboy.
You can see
The
that.
cowboy. You saw his picture. I mean, that's real cowboy without skill. Cowboy without skill.
God.
Yeah. Yeah, I have teaching tomorrow evening, Friday. It's bodhicitta, and then the weekends it's white Tara teaching and empowerment.
Are you teaching online or you're teaching in person?
I think both. I think they also would use Zoom.
So how do we connect with your website or your teaching schedule?
Uh, I will find out. I will ask Steve, and then maybe I can send you the link to where somewhere.
Should I put my email address in here?
I can send that to Judy. Maybe Judy can pass to you.
Who's Judy? Oh, you mean Jody.
Jody, yeah.
Okay.
Judy.
Judy is the Tibetan pronunciation.
Is it?
Yeah.
Not really.
Tibetan, what's the word they say? Tinglish. Tibet English. Tibet English. Jody, yeah.
Are you at a Vajravidya center or I didn't hear where you were in Maine?
Yes, Jody.
Okay.
I'm at Maine in Portland,
Uh,
and Vadi Vidya Center, and staying at one of my friend's place.
mhm.
Jody, you have my email address, yes?
Yeah, I do. I do.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
I have a question. I did miss part of the talk on devotion to one's root lama. I think
Mm-hmm.
was your first subject. Can one have more than one root lama?
Um, can one have more than root lama? I
More
think there's the terminology we use, root lama versus one's guru is a little different because root lama means someone introduced you nature of mind, you recognized it, then that's become your root lama. So there's only one individual could introduce nature of mind, you recognize, and then you have root lama. And then, generally, your practice guide, you can have, uh, lamas like people who done 3 retreat or that, lamas who are able to guide your practice. But I think sometimes if you have many lamas guiding your practice, and then it's almost like pulling in different direction because lamas may have different suggestions, and then you feel like I have to practice this and that at the end. Like your commitment is so big, then you get confused. So that's why it's important to have a one lama, or if you practice and then guide, and mainly practice it. One lama suggests, like whoever you feel connected, and they might say, "Oh, you let's do Hundo practice," and then without many questions, just simply do it, and then practice. Once you finish that, what's next? That's how we practice. Because if you say, "Okay, I don't want this, I don't want that, and I want this and that," and because at the end, regardless what you practice, whatever practice you do, it's all everything same um, destination. That is, abandon suffering or cause of suffering, and experience happiness and cause of happiness. And there's, of course, individuals may have karmic connection with certain practice, but we have to understand the whole teaching or yidam practice or whatever practice you do is aiming for realization of your nature of mind and through different methods.
What if more than one Lama introduced you to the nature of your mind?
Then whoever's instruction cause you to or help you to realize nature of mind, that become your Rutu Guru.
Okay, thank you.
The nada. Next. Oh, I miss Max.
I
He
talked
must
to him. I talked to him.
he must be dreaming in Germany now, sleeping now.
I talked to him the other day, and he took me on a tour of where he's living in near Bavaria.
Yeah.
So I said we need to make an aspiration that we're going to have a retreat on the land where he lives.
Oh, okay. Well, he will be the retreatant first.
Well, you can, yeah, we can get us together and
Oh, I see. He's inviting us to do retreat there.
not yet. We're talking about it, but we would love it.
Yeah.
That's
So,
what
why did he move back to Germany? I didn't even know he was gone.
Yeah.
I didn't hear the question.
Oh, why did he move to Germany?
Oh, because he just wanted to go back
Well,
home.
I think he chose a good time given what's going on politically here.
Possible. No political questions. Let's ask another.
No
I'm
political
not asking a
politics.
political question. I'm just
I'm
saying
joking.
maybe he had good timing.
Lasso.
Well, if nobody else wants to ask a question, I want to tell a little quick story about this necklace.
Ah,
Can you see it? Can you see that?
yeah, Tangrimbuchi, and then other side you are showing the
Dala, a mandala.
oh,
Oh, how
beautiful.
beautiful.
So I want to tell a really quick story about it because I know Bonnie is on and I never
Yeah.
met Bonnie in person or Jared, but it's about your sister, and your daughter, Bonnie's daughter, and Jared's sister, Megan.
Megan.
Just quick story because I just pulled this off my shrine. Okay,
Yeah.
so back in I think it was 2007, I was just starting to practice. I really didn't know much at all. And I was at a teaching in Santa Monica, and I think it was Lama Kathy. Daniel,
Mm.
no, I think it was Lama Kathy, I'm pretty sure. But I didn't know anything. I knew nothing. But I saw these red like cords around everybody's neck, but I didn't see anything at the end. I just see these red cords. And Megan was there. I didn't even know her, but I looked, she was sitting next to me. And I said, what are all those where's everybody wearing red cords? Like, I didn't know. I was a Dharma rookie. And she said,
Rookie.
so
Oh,
this
rookie.
rookie. So this is what
Mhm.
she did. I'll never forget. So she takes this necklace off of her neck, off of her. She puts it on me like this, right?
Mm.
And she says, this is important. This is good for you to have. And I looked
Mm.
at it and I was like, well, I don't even know who that is, or I didn't know but that's what she said to me. And then a year later or less, I took refuge with Dronga Rinpoche at a
Wow.
huge ceremony in downtown Los Angeles. And I didn't have any idea. I mean, I didn't know at the time when Megan took the necklace and put it on me.
Wow.
Went to a huge ceremony at the Omni Hotel in downtown LA. took refuge. And Wendy was there. She took refuge with me too. And that was that. Yeah. That was the story. And so she was right. She said, she put this on me and she said, this is good. This will be really good for you.
That's an incredible story, you know.
Yeah, and I never forget it. So if you talk to Megan, I mean, she's your sister and Bonnie's daughter. So I feel like I have a connection to you guys through her. Never
Mm,
forget her for that ever.
you know,
And
Well,
this
thank,
is actually
have
very,
it.
thank you for
this,
sharing that. I appreciate it.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
this is an interesting story. You know, I remember like a few months ago, I went to Wisconsin and with Lama Satomiyoshi. And then I went to, Minneapolis, give a talk at Shambhala Center. And the man person who, overseeing the center, his name's Patrick, who actually told Lama Satomiyoshi that, introduced to Kimburumbuche and told that Kimburumbuche is giving refuge, and this if you want to take refuge, this is the time. And he took refuge, and then he never looked back. So, so yeah, those sometimes like in life, unexpected things happens and lead to you like a long, long, everlasting memory. That's so you basically made connection by Megan, and then really she said it's good, it's good for you, and then led to Tangram. But yeah, that's a really amazing story. Thank you for sharing that. And I guess that's pretty much what I know. And yeah, thank you everybody once again, Soka KTC, and thank you for your devotion and support and continue Dhamma practice. And we normally have Daniel to say a joke, and he's a little silent tonight. So, I mean, because maybe his outfit, the cowboys, maybe, too much, he took over. We always make joke, like family joke. And, but serious note, as I think one of the main thing practice in life is impermanence, and impermanence is very, very valuable. And impermanence, if someone practice impermanence, and you never regret in your life because you won't waste your time. And of course, like, life is always up and down. At times we make a mistake, but, impermanence reminds us to confess, emotionally, whatever, make a mistake, whatever in life. And that's, once again, comes down to the Guru's blessing, because we are able to think about impermanence or nature of mind or all these practices simply because our own Gurus. So we dedicate to this merit for long life all the great masters, especially all of us who follow practice, able to fulfill the inspiration of our Gurus, which is benefit oneself, benefit sentient beings, and practice impermanence, devotion, and nature of mind. And also we pray for the world, all these natural disasters happening, hurricanes, and also wars, and so many people suffering. And I personally also would like to dedicate this to the bird that I talk about, and the whole, all of her, well, we could say family, and may they be reborn Devachin. And let's do the short prayer, dedication prayer. O sonam de tamji zebanye taune nibe dana panje ne jega nanji bala trup sebe zolen dogan yodro sho jambala pawo chitra chemba don kundu zombo teyo teji bila genje jiza dala je kewan deda tamji raudu mo chanjur san rumbo 마치 반놈 지지레제 지바냠바 메바도 고네 공데 페와쇼. All right.
Thank you, Lama. We'll see you
Uh,
next.
Thank you. I look like hiding in a cave. I mean, this light's supposed to put it behind like me, like this, right? I should have done something like this.
Are you in their shrine room at the center?
No, actually, I'm a Dharma friend's shrine of the where I going to sleep, and yeah, I help her to put this refuge picture that was a little bit lower.
Cool, looks
Ah,
excellent. Thank you for,
good.
Cowboy hat.
we'll see you next month.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Lama.
All right.
Thank you, Lama.
Thank you,
Bye.
everybody.
Good
Good
night,
night.
everybody.
Good
Night.
night, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you.
Good night.